I'm going to give you some information about that daily. I see that they wanted to turn, and we made mention of this before. Thank you for each one of you that took the time to go back and watch yesterday's video as well as the one prior to that. Thank you so much for doing that. I don't know you guys are here unless you let me know, and when you watch the video and hit the like button, you're really helping someone else. Thank you so much for doing that. And if you know anybody that need help with trading, tell them to come here so they can learn. There's a lot of information here. I try to go over as much of it as I possibly can without holding the video too long. But definitely I want to say thank you so much for letting me know that you're there. I like to talk to an audience. That's all. I want to make sure they're listening to me. So thank you for doing that. Most view videos here, live threshold, how far the candle will pull back before resuming. Price action trend, you just need to be able to count to 10. Price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. Chart scale, I teach you how to use your bezel, your hard right edge, so you don't have to look left. I put this out here this morning at like 4 something, 4:30 this morning. I put that zone there. They were, of course, pulling into it and taking off. And it had one here on this 15 minute, and there's that signal there. There's that signal here on this hourly. They even had one on this 5 minute here, and then they made one when they turned. And so I threw that out there. So if you guys want to follow me over there, you're more than welcome. And then of course, I just put this information out there. So 28,461. All right, so they're trying to move back up. They are. See that 930 had jumped up. We're going to take a look at that, but they couldn't make it to that zone. They were unable to make it. Even at 5 minute, you can see it here. They weren't able to make it. But yeah, so let's take a look at that information there. And again, thank you so much for showing that support. Well, they're at the zone right now. What we want to do is get them to absorb it. All right, so if you want to know what the price is to watch, hopefully they'll hold this low. And let's not get no close back below that 28,461.75. We don't want to see them close back beneath this. Now, remember, I told you guys that they had the buyers down here to keep this market from declining. You wouldn't see them past 27.5. So hopefully this is the end of it. I know they've been swinging up and then taking right back off to the downside. Don't kid yourself. If they get up here, they may still swing if they can make it back past here. And I did tell you this could last for the rest of the month. Now, hopefully that's not it. I know it's like the 19th now. But yeah, if they can get back up here soon, don't expect the selling to subside as much until they can, like, I guess, blow past that. So we just want to see them past that 30,005. All right, so let's just see if that can happen. We need them to actually go ahead and try to lift this up. That's all. Try to lift it up and get them sellers to back off. But right now they're not backing off. And so this is not a trend up. I want to go ahead and say that to you. If you don't know what a trend is, it's seven bars. I'll try to touch on that. But yeah, this is not a trend up. This is not a trend up. Okay, this is not a trend up. So it can turn around and fall. We need them above the center of this chart. Hopefully absorb this signal here on this hourly. We still got one up here. I took that zone off. We're just going to deal with, that reaction. I'll just leave it there. They reacted here on that push up on, I believe it was Sunday, and then they pushed down. But I try to take some of this stuff off. But we only have this up here. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and color this. Let's just go ahead and make this that light red there. We don't want to confuse it with the chart scale, so let's do this. Make that light red. Just kind of I said light gray. No, we don't want it gray. We need it red. Coral, if you will. So let's go with that. All right, so let's go light coral. Is it this one? No, that's the same one I just picked. All right, so let's do this one. How about this one? Is it this one? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so yeah, let's get that going. I tried to put a zone here. Let's make this green. Seem like I did the same thing. I try to do some of this so you don't have to sit here and watch me do it, because it takes me a little while to get everything on the chart. Where's that light green? We'll just put that there. Just kind of throw that right there, and then I try to put one here too. They shouldn't end up way back down here, I don't think, because they're plotting them on the way. Do forgive me, I actually went to the eye doctor this morning, so get my little checkup. And also, if I'm quoting prices that's not quite what's on the board, just look at the clock, know what time it is, and say, hey Dave, I appreciate you sharing, but that's not the exact price. Try not to get too flustered with me. All right, because things can look a little blurry here and there. All right, so where we left off, it was somewhere. Okay, here we go. All right, so yeah, we left off here on the 18th. All right, we left off there. They went right into that signal, all right, because when we were on the video, they had made this one absorb that one. Okay, if you go back, you can see they pull right up to that signal, and then we ended the video on this bar. Well, they hit that signal and they took off to the downside and went and made you a new low. All right, so now let's scroll forward here. All right, we'll take a look at the because I took and drew it up on the other chart here. I took and drew the they got this signal here. We just need them to absorb it and get through it. If not, they're going to try to lean over and come back down. They're still above the upper part of the scale. Let me go ahead and outline this a little bit here. You got the mid above this candle. If the mid get above that candle, the live candle, if the mid can fall below that candle, that's going to make the bars turn green or red. If you can't find that, the next thing that you're looking for is a big wick, little wick, or a small body that can fit into this body at least twice. All right, now you may not have this for that scenario. It's fine. You just need that body to fit in there at least twice. All right, so those are the three different ways, and it's on each one of these charts. So that way, when we're on that chart, you can kind of reference it if it's not in front of the well behind the candles. But you just need that to show up. Now, sometimes the market does this. I want to go ahead and just say this before we move further. You get a candle right now. If the market is not going to do these things, I want to go ahead and tell you this is what it's going to do more often than not. You're going to find at least four or more bodies sitting inside of that candle. All right, so just get ready for it. It may stall you out and give you a hard time, but that's what you're going to end up with. All right, so now let me blow this up just a little bit here. Yeah, so we need them to absorb this. I believe they can get through this high, but they need to go ahead and just kind of hop to it. All right, that's all. And again, you can just follow those green and red bars. You can just do that. All right. Now what do we have here? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's not a trend down. All right, so it can go back up through the high. Now let's just take a quick look at these signals here. I'm not going to be able to for you long. Again, just want to let you know what the market has done and what we're expecting the market not to do. All right, so they had a signal here at 9:29. Now, I wasn't available to do this because I had to go to the eye doctor. 9:29, and then of course at 9:30. Now it can be a single bar plot or a dual bar plot, two bar plot. So even if it was a two bar plot, that's 9:30. All right, it would have came on if it was a two bar plot. They took off to the upside. It's some stuff over here that's just not right. So I already knew that they could do that. I'm gonna be honest with you here. Now this turn, here's that signal, the circle, all right, and that's the push, the DTT push X is in the suite, all right. If you want indications, I do provide them. There's three others here that single bar plots as well, but this one is important. This one can be a single most of the time, or occasionally it'll be a dual bar plot. They pulled into that and they turned the corner, all right. They had one here, they absorbed this one, had one here, kind of leaned into that, pushed up, but then they had one here, they absorbed that, came in it with it here, pulled up to it, took off to the downside, pulled up again. Here's another one, pulled up and took off to the downside, and then it came in on this bottom, and then they absorbed it. When they turned the corner, they put one here. They didn't close under this straight away until they got here. Sucks. They had one up here on the high, they had one here, they absorbed it, put one right beside it, fantastic, and they hit that. All right, so they hit that there, and they've been gone ever since. So they've been up the board. All right, so they've been up there. Now, are they well, are they posed to fall? Do forgive me, I'm a little tired too. I'm old. I'm old, just I'm old. But bear with me, give me a second. I'm gonna get everything situated here so you guys can know what's going on. All right, so again, we don't want them closing beneath here if they're going to stay up. Again, this is not a trend, but we would like to see them absorb this signal if at all possible. Just want to see them going and get right through it. I think they can. I do. You may run into them wanting to lean over. That's about it. But hopefully, hopefully this can hold them up. They can just keep going. Get them above the center of this chart. That's really, really important. We just want to get them above the chart. Let me outline that trend for you on this chart. Let me do that here. All right, I'm gonna make the candles kind of big. All right, so that way you can really take it in. All right, so here I'm gonna do the trend for you in case you don't know and you're new. You don't know anything about trading. You're trying to find there has to be. You can follow these arrows too. All the information that you need to know about these three signals are down here. Now, again, there's some other ways of trading these signals. I just can't tell you, but this is a good guideline. So you can just follow the arrows if you want. All right, so you need 7 bars closing higher. Okay, so you got 1, that's green, 2, 3, 4. You ignore the one that does not close higher. So this one didn't close higher, so you ignore it. That's 4. And this is 5. Okay, so we got 5 so far. 6. And here's 7. Now this is what I want you to do. Just like we do with the actual pattern there. Okay, I want you to go for this because the market is like you and I. Whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind. All right, so you know what you're going to do. You know what you're going to do once you get whatever it is that was on your mind accomplished. You know what you're going to do after that as well. All right, and so even though they did a lot of swinging back and forth, they ended up making it. All right, now I'm not going to count out every scenario in here. I can kind of look at it and tell it's not 7 in any of this. In any of these dropbacks, there's not 7 bars. I can kind of look at that and tell this is 1 here, 2. Yeah, that's not 7. That's not 7. So yeah, they want to keep going. All right, so you know what to do with all of this as well. All right, so just make it simple. If you want to stay in a trade, do not make it complicated. All right, so yeah, they got an arrow coming in. Single bar plot arrows. Yeah, that's a problem. Here's the 6. Yeah, let's get ready to come back down here. That's all. All right, so yeah, so that's simple enough, right? So 7, you got to be able to count 7. Okay, and as far as your chart scale. That's on each chart here. I do provide a template for you guys that's full screen. And if you want this one, I'll give you this one too. But I do provide a template for you that has additional information on it. So it's not just what you're seeing here. Some other information that can help you with the cyclical activity that the frame has. And now what we're doing with the frame is this. Here's your bezel. Your bezel is here. If they're going to turn the market, they're going to do it right in front of you. The mid is falling beneath the low. That bar should turn red. Now, what is it suggesting? All right, this is what it's suggesting that it will do. All right, currently. Now, we just got to see where it closes and will that bar turn red. And if it does, it's saying that it's going to get this far. Let's see if it can do that. Let's see. Or will it turn right back around? Let's just see. I'm gonna be up here for just one moment. Let's see if we can get this done because I don't normally do this part because I don't like to hold the video too long. I don't want to bore you. But I definitely want to give you some information. So the bezel, the center of your chart, upper part of your chart. Now I'm going, give or take with these lines. I'm not the best at it, but and it's yeah, it's a circle that just popped up there. Now again, it can be a 2-bar plot or a single bar plot. You just don't want them to close outside that bar with that circle. Really important. And again, you have them back here. So let's point out a couple of them that you have back here. Let's do that while we're waiting to see if they were to get there. So you have one here. And clearly this can't work if they're going to hit that that target. So your only next available one would be down here. And I'm not going to hold the video that long. But it'll be here. So you're looking, essentially you're looking for what's significant according to the scale. So if we're going to go back up, what's significant according to the scale? All right. You don't have to look too far to the left. You don't have to do that. Or you can just stay right here and do what I just did. It's telling you that it's going to go this far. You can go here if you want. You got to make sure it turns into a trend, all right? And you want that too because you want to make sure that there's some alignment for it to fall. Is in our reaction zone, so there should be a reaction, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. That's 7. So that's a trend, all right? So now what will the trend be, all right? So now let's do this. Oh, I got the wrong thing. I need the arrow. Let's get our arrow here. I'm gonna read this to you really quickly. Thank you once again for supporting the content. All right, just trying to get some information online so people can get some real help. All right, so here you go. It's saying that it get here. I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see. It's not to say it can't. It absolutely could if it wants. It absolutely can get there. I just don't know about that. I don't know. All right, we got our 5-minute here. It's leaning back into these signals here. All right, so I'm not going to draw anything on it. Let's just look here. Got clustering of them. You even have one here and then one just a little further back near the center of that chart there. Now I'll do this one here just to give it just a little bit of room, but it's coming to the center. Well, the upper part of the chart, here's a reaction. You're still sitting in the upper part of the chart here too, so there's a slight reaction there. Your bezel, really important. I want to make sure that you understand the power of what you're looking at first, that hard right edge. Don't expect what's to the left to make any sense if you can't make sense of what's happening in real time. Because whatever's happening in real time will inevitably wind up on the left side of your chart. So when you're watching the chart, make sure you're paying close attention to your bezel. The template that's provided here does not move. So even though the scale itself, it adjusts, and it does this little up and down, the chart scale won't move. So we're constantly aware the chart is at all time where price is operating at all time. Unless you blink for a really long time, you will see the market turn. So you don't have to look left. You don't have to wonder when it's going to turn. It's going to turn when it gets to these locations. If nothing more, there will be a reaction, right? And then once the reaction happens, the next thing you're looking for is the three things that I told you about. And if they're not doing this, then they're doing this, right? There's tons of other information about candles and how candles form and, what's the likelihood of this one and that one. There's a lot of stuff I can tell you. The most important thing about being in the private community is this. I teach you about time. Time is the one element that I can't like go over in the public. I can't tell you different things that happens with the price according to time. It's really, really important. Remember, before we had electronic trading, that's all they had was time and price. That's it. Okay, so it's really important that we still like go to the fundamentals of how to get your trades to work, understanding the when to it all. When should something take place, and that's something that I definitely cover in that private community. Let's see if it's going to get to this distance. I see it got, now I'm not talking this one here. I'm talking this one here. It got right about half. I told you guys in the last video, sometimes they're going to do that. They're going to go roughly half. I'm losing my voice a little bit here. They'll go roughly half, and then it'll turn around. Air conditioning stuff. All right, so let's see if it wants to turn itself back over here and at least hit this. Now I do know if it hits this, it's going through that it should go through here, and it could definitely end up here. Maybe a little bit lower. Maybe a little bit lower. So we just want to see it hit here. Once it hit here, I must go. Okay, I must go. So those are the simple things. I don't normally do this portion because I don't want to hold the video really long here. I want to make sure you just get some information and something to look for when you go to your charts. Something that'll work. All right, something that'll work. Now I'm about to say it's doing it again, saying that the mid is falling beneath that low. Okay, it backed off. It stopped before the bar closed. It stopped before the bar closed. All right, so let's see if it can just get to this. Let's say 25.25. Let's just see. I don't want to go too far in those numbers. I went to that. I think the blurriness is starting to wear off just a little bit. 29,025 and a quarter. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if they break this low. Once they get there, I must go. And again, thank you so much for all the continued support. Be certain to continue the support. All right, if you continue to support, I have no problem coming back sharing information at all. But be sure to, of course, let someone know about the channel. We want to get people help, man, if they're having trouble with trading. I want to make it very simple. Again, you won't find this information online, not for free. No one is willing to tell you the truth about charts. It's really simple. It's not complicated. It's not as complicated as one may think. And I teach you a ton of stuff. Trust me, I'll teach you a ton of stuff about this chart and what you're looking at. Make the experience real easy. That's all makes it easier when you know certain things. But yeah, this is simple enough. Simple enough to get you there. We'll count it as it made it. I don't want to hold it too much longer. If not, check the thumbnail. Check the thumbnail. See if it. Well, it shouldn't take me that long to upload this video. But check your chart. Go back and check your chart. See if it made it all the way down here to I don't know, what is that, 28,967, maybe quote 28,967 and a quarter. See if it made it all the way here. That's all you gotta do. Just see if it made it here. Once it get here, again, it'd be near the center of the chart. Here, we had a small reaction at the upper part of the chart. Yeah, they should sweep that. And then here, they shouldn't get this far. So you're looking at roughly, they make it stop here, but definitely, hopefully they'll just stop here and won't, get to the center of the chart here. That'll just be bad. All right, so I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.